The Alien movie contains mysteries that we explore in the videos. What the mysteries are and why they are in the movie is due to the background and production of the Alien movie. The movie script changed several times before the movie was produced and during production. In addition, scenes were added and changed to the movie during production. Not all of these changes are noted in the scripts. In this video, we focus on the Narcissus shuttle, which is the one used by Ripley to escape from the Nostromo at the end of the Alien movie. Many people will probably wonder what is so special about the Narcissus shuttle, but there are some interesting details and things that the viewer may notice and experience in the movie. Let's start with the easiest notable thing about the Narcissus shuttle in the movie. In the movie, we see how Ripley escapes from the Nostromo to the shuttle, closes the shuttle's airlock, the shuttle's shield is removed, and the shuttle descends downwards. Next, we see how in the window, the Nostromo's base structure moves at high speed and Ripley looks out the window, how the Nostromo and refinery recedes and explodes. The first thing a keen-eyed viewer will notice is that Ripley is looking at the receding Nostromo from the front window. After this, the viewer may be confused and conclude that Ridley Scott has made a mistake because the view of the receding Nostromo should be shown in the rear window. What actually happens in the scene is that the Nostromo with Narcissus attached to it is moving forward in space at several times the speed of light. Ripley starts the front engines of the Narcissus shuttle, and Narcissus begins to brake as the Nostromo moves forward. Because of this, we see how the Nostromo's hull surface moves forward as seen from the window, and the Nostromo moves away and explodes as seen from the front window. Why does Narcissus brake? Why doesn't it move forward away from the Nostromo? The answer is simple. Braking is the fastest way to increase the distance to the Nostromo. In reality, moving at the speed of light is impossible. But it is known that moving at the speed of light requires an infinitely large amount of energy. Thus, accelerating past the Nostromo to escape the explosion would have taken significantly longer than simply braking. The script does not describe this in more detail. Ridley Scott decided on the execution of the scene during production. This is confirmed. For example, in a 2008 interview with Phil Ray, the original creator of the Narcissus model for the Alien movie, he said, "The ports that light up on the front are indeed engines, or better perceived as retro thrusters. The ship did indeed escape backwards, quickest way out of there." He also mentioned this in the Alien Makers Part 7 documentary. Another thing that the keen-eyed viewer may notice is the number of hypersleep pods on the Narcissus shuttle. We see 2 in the film. In addition, in the film, Ripley says that the shuttle cannot hold 4. If Parker, Lambert, and Ripley had survived and the alien had exploded in the Nostromo, there would have been 1 too few hypersleep pods on the shuttle. This is a clear plot hole that not everyone may notice. There is no clear explanation for this in any of the backstory. Originally, the entire escape to the Narcissus shuttle was different in the script. In the script, Lambert and Parker go to the B-deck food storage to collect food for the shuttle, and the alien surprises them there. The idea was that the survivors would not go into hypersleep, at least not all at once, but that the food from storage would help the 3 of them survive in space. Ridley Scott changed the scene during production so that Lambert and Parker collect coolant cylinders on C-deck. The number of hypersleep pods on the Narcissus shuttle changed during different scripts. At first, there were 4, then 2. Later, Alien fans and various media outlets have formed a more accurate description of the Nostromo's rescue shuttles. In the 2011 book Alien Vault, the book states that the Nostromo has 2 shuttles, the Narcissus and its sister shuttle, the Salmacis. Later, in the 2019 Alien role-playing game, the Salmacis shuttle is reported to be damaged and it was not aboard when the Nostromo departed. All of these later backstories about the Nostromo shuttles are not based on the original story, but they build a logical framework, especially if, according to the earlier scripts, each shuttle had 4 hypersleep pods. This way, the entire Nostromo could have been rescued in the 2 shuttles if necessary. The third thing about the Narcissus shuttle is related to the question, how did the xenomorph manage to get into the shuttle? The easy answer is because that's how the film got its final climax. In reality, there's a backstory to it. In earlier versions of the script, Ripley, Lambert, and Parker tried to lure the alien Narcissus with the shuttle's music player. Their idea was to lure the alien with music and blow it out. This way, they could save the Nostromo and the refinery. They managed to lure the alien with music, but it starts to hesitate and doesn't fall into the crew's trap. The scene built a backstory for the alien's interest in the Narcissus shuttle and created an explanation for why the xenomorph got into the shuttle. The scene was eventually cut from the scripts. This is a good example of how much a story loses substance when it is cut too much. The problem with cutting scenes is damage to the story. The cuts create discontinuities and illogical plot holes in the film. If there had been a scene where the xenomorph is lured with the music of the shuttle, the viewer would have had a logical explanation for why the xenomorph is interested in the shuttle and eventually goes there. The last interesting thing about the Narcissus shuttle is related to the movie sets. The interior of the Narcissus shuttle is built on the sets of the Nostromo Bridge. The film's production began with scenes filmed on the A-deck sets. Once all the A-deck scenes had been filmed, they were changed to the B-deck sets, and at the same time the infirmary was transformed into Parker and Brett's engine cubicle room, and the bridge was transformed into the Narcissus shuttle. The airlock hallway on B-deck and the space that Ripley runs through in the film are the gallery on A-deck. Same airlock vestibule space has been used in various scenes. The scene when Ripley runs to the Narcissus shuttle is filmed from a different direction than, for example, the scene where Ripley and Ash open airlock's door before Dallas goes into the airshaft. One interesting detail regarding the sets and scale models. In the miniature model of the Narcissus shuttle docking, the passageway and airlock to the shuttle are just a thin corridor. The miniature model did not have an airlock vestibule space, as we see in the film. Since the shape of the scale model was not ultimately shown in the film, there was no problem with this. Write in the comments whether you had noticed the things about the Narcissus shuttle presented in the video and what thoughts they bring up for you. Remember to like the video, and if you haven't subscribed yet, now's the time to do so. Subscribing is free, and by subscribing, you'll always get a notification when new Alien franchise-related videos are uploaded to the channel.